Welcome back, gang. So I wanted to do a quick video on this latest vintage collection Army Builder 4-pack, the Imperial Officers, which is a pretty good set in my opinion. We, have been wanting some more Imperial Officers in the vintage collection, and now that we have this wonderfully up-to-date, fully articulated officer sculpt, Hasbro's wasting no time putting it to good use, which is, cool to see. There's plenty of Imperial Officers throughout the Star Wars galaxy, and we're going to need more of these to fill our displays and also army build for our Imperial collections. So by now, many of you are probably pretty familiar when it comes to this officer sculpt, which I mentioned is fantastic. But the thing that Hasbro keeps doing with these Army Builder 4-packs is putting unique characters into the set, which, vintage fans aren't exactly thrilled about because it limits you when, you're trying to buy 10 of these. You don't want a bunch of Mahdi's and Admiral Piets sitting around. We're not cloning them for an army, but the good thing about this officer set is it allows you to do head swaps, which, makes it a better army builder in my opinion. The previous 212th, was challenging because we got Waxer in there. And he has a very unique helmet, and his paint deco on his armor is actually different than all the other grunts. And, not everybody in the community has the talent or, skills to paint that to make him look like a custom 212th trooper. So a little bit unfortunate. But then we have, this set, which allows you to do something much better. Head swaps. Very simple. All you have to do is pop off the head. If you have some other ones lying around from other action figure lines or, other Star Wars figures, you can simply put them on there. And there you go. Here I have one of my spare Return of the Jedi Piets, and I just put one of the Joy Toy Mech Crew extra heads that I had on him, and he looks fantastic. So, custom officer right there. So that's the nice thing about this set, and I think it, it's a good one, and I'm happy to see, an ISB officer in there and just more rank badges. So, pretty cool stuff. But with that being said, let's take a closer look at the packaging in each one of these figures. Taking a look at the box, we have our standard vintage collection packaging for these Army Builder 4-packs. We have the Star Wars logo with a simplified name pill color stating Imperial Officers. And then we have a nice simplified line illustration of the types of characters that come in this set. And this one is really cool in my opinion because typically you see a pop of color on these sets, and here they went a little bit of an interesting route because everything's kind of muted and very Imperial gray feel to it, and instead of doing solid gray on here, they did this nice dot simplified color palette to mimic gray uniforms and just the shading in certain areas, and I think that just looks so cool. On top of it, they did put a pop of color in here, but it's a little bit muted, so you have the red and blue there, and yeah, I just think everything about that looks pretty cool in my opinion. On the top, you have the Vintage Collection logo. And then on the back, you have another simplified line illustration of the 4 characters that actually come in this set. So all in all, pretty cool stuff and another wonderful addition to our Army Builder 4-pack collection. And if you just so happen to be new to these Army Builder 4-packs or collecting in general, this is what the contents look like inside. You have 4 troopers all neatly wrapped in tissue paper with their accessories inside as well. And taking a look at our first officer out of the package is Admiral Piet, who this time has his correct Admiral rank badge that you see in Empire Strikes Back. We originally got this character on a Return of the Jedi card, and he had the rank badge that was accurate to that movie, but not really accurate to his rank. So very cool to see this update added to our collection. And something that's really interesting is I kind of thought Hasbro was doing all new upper bodies for these. And you can kind of see here that there's a slight seam that goes all up along his body and up to the collar. So essentially they were just using the same back for all the Imperial officers and then making new fronts with different rank badges and code cylinders that just adds variety. So that's really creative and cool stuff. So bravo to them for that. Taking a look at the rest of the figure, he's exactly the same as the other release. He's got ball jointed everything, the new style hips, rocker ankles, which makes him fully articulated. And despite not seeing a lot of action from Imperial officers, I'm happy to see, full articulation on a figure like this. He also has the removable cap, just like before. And for the most part, I think the face sculpt looks exactly the same. I don't think they've done anything too different here. There might be a little difference in the color of the plastic that's used for his face, but nothing drastic whatsoever. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Very happy to see this Admiral rank badge and add this one to the collection. And then moving right along, we have this Imperial officer from the ISB, a very cool addition to our collections because I really like the way that these white uniforms look, and the ISB is just very interesting in my opinion. Something else I want to point out is that You get two E11 blaster rifles in this set, and something that's really cool is that these are finally the ones without the flashlight that you see on the Rogue One versions, which we've seen this blaster before. I think it came with the Han Solo and Luke in Stormtrooper disguise, and it is accurate to, A New Hope. Unfortunately, we didn't see that with our Stormtrooper release, but very happy to see it here, and I'm also happy to see the silver little paint deco added there, which sometimes they include, sometimes they don't, and I really would like consistency with those kind of things, but happy to see it here. Taking a look at this figure, he also has an Admiral rank badge, but he's not the same as Piet, actually. He only has one code cylinder on each side, so once again, slight differences in the sculpting of the fronts of the body. I also really like this matte black that they used for his pants that, looks much different from his black of his boots. So this guy's just really cool. I think the hat is a little too shiny. I wish that would match, the matte black of his pants a little more, but it's not a deal breaker. He also comes with a holster, so very cool. Not many of the officers we've seen so far come with the holsters. And then taking a look at the face sculpt, pretty good stuff. He's got some nice white hair, like deco there, and his mustache. So, yeah, he looks pretty good. Very, very happy with this one. I don't think he's a specific character of any sort. He's just kind of a random ISB officer. So, yeah, very nice to finally see some ISB officers in there. Hopefully this means we'll see, some characters from Andor, because those were probably some of my favorite characters from that series, just seeing the ISB in general. So, yeah, another great addition to our collection. And moving right along, we have our next Imperial officer, which is a captain. And from what I can see, this is the same exact figure as our Return of the Jedi Piet release. The only thing that's different is the lower bottom shirt, the soft plastic. This one's different because it has a holster, and Piet did not have that. So cool stuff to see. And here you can see that the holster works pretty well. So he can keep his pistol by his side. So great stuff. Once again, we have that E11 with the nice paint deco added. And yeah, it's just great to see another officer and a little bit of variety. This guy has different skin tone, and yeah, cool stuff. And I will do some head swaps with this guy as well, and have maybe a couple other captains in my Imperial ranks. And lastly, we have Admiral Mahdi from A New Hope, who I believe is an admiral in that movie, but he displays a general's rank badge. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to Imperial rank badges. If you would like to hear my friend SW Collector 375, better known as Tyler from the SWTVC group, rant on about Imperial rank badges, be sure to check out their podcast, which also has a YouTube version as well, which I will have linked in the description down below. But all in all, this is a very cool release that I'm really happy to have, but I also would have loved to see this character on a Star Wars A New Hope card. Very, very iconic character, and I think a lot of people would have preferred to see that. But regardless, I'm happy to have him, and he's a wonderful update to the very out-of-date one that we have from the 375 line. Taking a look at his face sculpt, man, they absolutely nailed this one in my opinion. I think he personally looks a lot better than Piet even. Something they did here about sculpting and the paint apps just really, they captured him, and I'm very happy to have this one. As I said, he's got this general rank badge here, which is 2 blue and then 4 red. And he also has 2 code cylinders on the, his left-hand side here, and then 1 on the right. He doesn't have a holster, which, you didn't see in the movie, but he does come with the pistol. And yeah, this is just a good one to get into our collections, and I'm sure many fans are going to be happy to have this one added to their A New Hope displays. The all-new from the ground up Imperial Officer Sculpt makes another appearance in the Vintage Collection with the release of this Army Builder 4-pack. While this set allows fans another shot at Admiral Piet with the correct rank badge, I think it's safe to say that many of us would still like to see this character on an Empire Strikes Back card. The inclusion of the high-ranking ISB officer is simply a stunning addition to our collections and display. These bright white uniforms have been high on my list of Imperial must-have characters, and thankfully this set delivers the first of hopefully many ISB figures for the Vintage Collection. There are certainly a number of options from both Star Wars Rebels and Andor. Once again, the generic Imperial officers come with a blaster pistol, E11 blaster rifle, and soft plastic removable cap that looks better from certain angles, but has really started to grow on me over time. These fully articulated 1/18 scale figures sport all the modern advancements that will allow for a number of different poses. While some may argue that Mahdi was not on the front lines during the original trilogy Death Star battles, it's nice to have the ability to display any and all figures in a dynamic setting or action pose. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at the latest vintage collection Army Builder 4-pack, the Imperial Officers. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It always helps and is greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.